Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Currency of Anarchy. I'm Josh Davis.
Michael Freeman.
And if you'd like to be a part of the discussion during our live tapings, please check us out at youtube.com/user/Cur of Anarchy on Mondays at 9 p.m., 6 p.m. Pacific. And you can see the final product on the same channel, youtube.com/Cur of Anarchy. And you don't need the user on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. And please check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/Cur of Anarchy. If you're here during the live taping right now, you can post any questions and comments to the Q&A thread that we have on YouTube now, instead of Facebook messaging and all this other stuff. That's just chaotic. So there will be no confusion. Anyway, a word from our sponsors.
Holly Cogburn runs Homebody, a body care, vanity, and cosmetic products company. She contracts using USD, Bitcoin, homebody products, and fresh produce. She is proud to say that she started the business without the assistance of bank loans. In her words, fuck bank loans and fuck their interest rates. For the most part, fuck banks. She paid for costs out of pocket and has steadily and sustainably grown from there. She believes in a free, fair, and reputation-based market, so please find Holly at homebodyco.com or facebook.com/homebodyco. Introducing a customized media player with no monthly fees. A one-time purchase and installation of this device and you are ready to watch the latest movies and TV shows for free. Anything you can imagine or want to watch can be found on the box connected to your home internet connection. These units are locked and loaded using Android and Linux technology. You get access to over 7,000 channels all over the world, live, including sporting events, pay-per-view, wrestling, boxing, and more. Google Play Store comes pre-installed with access to all Android apps, including Popcorn Time, Showbox, Netflix, Facebook, Pandora, and more. All units are rooted and have capability to download or play from a USB or external hard drive. Please call Paul at 978-335-9842 or email him directly at info@paulhennick.com.
And Michael, so we don't have any guests this time, Michael, but we do have you and me, and we have a few topics here. I don't know about yourself, but I have a few ideas to at least bounce around back and forth here. Anything you want to start off with, or what's up?
Yeah, I always have something to say. Well, yeah, this Q&A thing, no, I don't have anything to bring to the table tonight as far as pre-research topics, because I'm kind of giving a wing and a prayer to the audience. And this is our first episode with the Q&A feature going. And I think that this is the precursor or the the origin story to the Currency of Anarchy call-in show, right? Like maybe we do this Q&A thing for a while, and eventually once we buy more stuff, then we step it up, right? So I think that's glorious, and I'm just going to count on the audience to talk for me this time. I hope they don't let me down.
We do have Kara, who started us off here. We got a special friend here. She says holla. That's a great question, but it's a good start. So thank you, Kara. So anyway, my first topic I want to talk about tonight is a lot of people bring up the idea of violence in video games and games in general and that kind of thing. And I think there's some validity to it because it sort of does ingrain us with the notion that maybe violence is a okay thing, or it's good at some points, or it's good to use it sparingly, or something like that. But at the same time, it is just a game. And personally, as long as you know the difference, there really shouldn't be any problem knowing that, as long as you know that violence is absolutely wrong in reality, in real life, IRL, whatever. I don't have a problem with it at all.
I only have a problem with violence when it is initiatory. I think that defensive violence is a very good thing, actually.
Yeah, I mean that's true, and it's funny because I guess my when I say violence, it really is the aggression, the initiation of the use of force. It's not that I mean, people colloquially say violence, whatever. It can be defensive or offensive, and I just think of violence as offensive. But whatever, as long as we're on the same page, basically, do not initiate the use of force. That's it.
If you hit me, it's wrong. If I hit you back, it's right.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. We can use whatever isms and explanations to describe that as we want to, but I think it's a very, very simple construct or concept, and we should probably keep it that way. Like when you're 3 years old, you're told like don't hit. When you're like 7 years old, you're told like if the bully hits you, fucking kick him in the balls and punch him in the nose, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just gotta respect my body, my mind, my temple, whatever. Just lay your hands off of me, unless I say it's okay. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah.
I'm going to take this to, for the very first time ever on the Currency of Anarchy here, we're going to go to the Q&A, and we are going to go to a question from a viewer. This is coming from Kara Curry. And, I want to be humble and just say this. It feels fucking cool to do this. Like, we actually have a viewer who's actually proposing a question to us, and I wasn't even sure that was going to happen. I thought we would launch this Q&A thing and just sit here and Josh and I would jerk each other off metaphorically. But no, we have a question here coming. Well, that's a statement, I suppose. Discussion on no borders. Maybe explain it to us for us newbies. I'm paraphrasing, and that's coming from Kara Curry. What do you got, Josh?
Okay, no borders. The idea is there really shouldn't be any borders forced upon us by a mob. Because basically, if I bought land or whatever, then that's my land, right? I decide what goes on within those borders. But because it's mine, it's fair to say that it's mine. Now, the idea is the only way the state can get around that and enforce borders technically is by saying, by giving out land and taxing it and pretending that it's yours. You buy the land from the bank, and there's a lot of legal issues and papers passed around. But basically, in the end, what we're saying is it's the state that actually owns the land, and you're renting it out. And really, when it comes to no borders, the idea is if we don't have a state, then they're not initiating any large, fences around a bunch of us all at once. I can, buy some land for myself, and that would be legitimate in my opinion. So there would be small borders, and I'm sure there's going to be disputes as to where the lines are drawn technically, but in the end, I think that's what no borders really is. It's not caging us all up into one arena and pretending that we all have separate properties, but we don't. Anyway, what do you have to say, Michael?
I agree, but I'm just much more simple about it. Like,
go for it.
There's a very serious distinction that needs to be made between public and private, and between government and individual. I think government doesn't exist. First of all, government is people and guns and papers and magic and mysticism and fucking things that aren't real. It's not. So government borders just can't exist. Like government granting people property is just mind-boggling, and I can't even try to come up with logic to back that up, because you couldn't possibly own property that you rent from the government. It just doesn't work that way. However, in the ideal free society, like, government doesn't exist, so goodbye public, or goodbye public sector, goodbye government property, right?
Goodbye, brainwashing.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, actually.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't think so. I know a lot of people who brainwash their kids. I know a lot of people who even might be anarchists or Bitcoiners or whatever it is who brainwash their kids, who like drag their kids to gay rights people, right? Like they'll drag their kids to protest and have their kids hold these signs, and like these kids have no fucking idea what these words even mean, right? So brainwashing is going to happen without the state.
Yeah.
But I think that my thing on Borders is like, if you believe in rights, and I'm not sure that I do, but if you do believe in rights, then people have the right of movement. And who the motherfuck is a centralized group of irrational, illogical, illegitimate authority to try to control the entire fucking world to try to determine where they can or cannot go? That is one of the most preposterous, unfree sentiments that I've ever heard in my entire life. And what does that lead to? Look, what does that lead to? It's a very Orwellian concept to even consider national borders. Okay, especially to consider national fences. Good God! Like, I'm not sure that these neocons and these Ted Cruzes and these people understand the fact that the borders don't only keep people out. Okay, they keep people in. Probably more so than anything. Not to mention passport legislation. Not to mention fucking denouncing citizenship is upwards of $5,000, right? And then they put up walls, and you think that's going to bring forth freedom?
Yeah, it sounds reminiscent of Germany. Only what, 20 years ago?
So I would say like after World War II Germany, like East and West Germany, like the Berlin Wall,
yeah,
maybe Stalinist Russia. That's what I'm hearing.
Sure.
And the worst part about it is like the Stockholm syndrome sets in so hardcore, and these people, like the Boston fucking Marathon, dude, like your doors are getting kicked in, and you're already disarmed, and like you guys are cheering them on. That's what's happening with this anti-amnesty movement, this border closing movement, right? It's a really dangerous premise, and this type of thinking. I say this all the time, but lots of types of thinkings tend to do this. But this type of thinking tends to lead to the collapse of civilizations and the murder of hundreds of thousands of people. And that fucking scares the piss out of me.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on borders.
Just before we continue this question, would you like to introduce your best friend in the world over here?
You're up there too, Joshy.
Oh, okay.
So yes, John Moss is joining us here. And John, sorry, like I talked to you like 6 hours ago about this, and I came on and I was like, hey, maybe John will come on, and Josh, why don't you message him, because I don't feel like it.
Fair enough.
So guys, you know John Moss, New Sons and Daughters of Liberty. He admins for that new Common Sense child beating or something like that. And go ahead.
It's Raising Common Sense Anarchy.
Right. So yeah, he'll be joining us for some peanut gallery commentary for the remainder of the show.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, just to continue with Kara's discussion over here. Yeah.
Yeah, one more thing, John. I would like to bring you up to speed a little bit. We're doing the Q&A tonight, and so far we do only have one question, and this is the one we're going on. Josh put in his 2 cents. I put in my 2 cents. And mind you, due to inflation, your 2 cents is now about $13.
Agreed.
I got to stop making that joke. I do it too often. However, John, Kara Curry asks, or states, I'm going to paraphrase just to keep it simple.
Sure.
Could you make a discussion on no borders? Maybe explain it for us newbies?
Yeah.
So Josh explained his premise, that it's violent, ridiculous, economically terrible. And I agree, we both use different words, but I think we are on the same page pretty much. What do you think?
Well, likely I'm just going to parrot what you guys said, but I wasn't really here for that. So what I can say is that borders are violent. They're enforced by violence. There's no reason to keep people out of the country. I find that most people who have an issue with borders and illegal immigration and all that stuff, they don't actually have a problem with the immigration. They have a problem with something else. They have a problem with the welfare state, i.e., all these damn illegals are going to come here and sponge off of our welfare and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, all right, so you don't really have a problem with immigration. You have a problem with our welfare state. Let's, how about we fix that instead of instead of keeping otherwise productive people out of here?
Yeah, I mean, good plan, but I'd say that removing the welfare state is that's quite a feat, buddy.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not saying it's actually going to happen. I'm just saying that my point is that most people who have a problem with borders and immigration actually have a problem elsewhere. Such as health issues or public health issues or welfare issues or something like that. But it's actually very, very rare that somebody is literally just against immigrations because they hate immigrants. It's pretty rare, I think. And fuck borders anyway. They're imaginary lines drawn on a map by psychopath politicians.
Hey, John, where are you? How many generations ago did your lineage come to America, Stan?
No, I have no idea.
Okay, well, you should probably look into that. Josh?
My question is, why do you care?
Well, because I'm baiting to a point. Is why.
Well, my point is, you shouldn't care because.
Okay, fine. My point is that.
Fine, they're imaginary, Michael. That's all I'm saying.
I'm aware, and that's the point that I'm leading up to. Anybody who tries to hate on immigrants or whatever really needs to start to look into their own lineage, because like John's an Armenian Jew or a mutt of mixed proportions, and Josh, I'm not really sure what you are. I'm an Irish mutt, right? Like, my family did not originate here, so
right. Yeah,
somewhere along the line.
I'm English and Italian and Irish, whatever. Yeah.
Eastern European mutt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to follow up with what Kara said earlier, I think she. But the question was, even though we should be for open borders, or I'm adding to her what she said, even though we should be for open borders. It's natural for people to congregate. So doesn't that mean we should have borders to keep other people out? I assume that's where she was going with it.
I'm fairly certain that that people have been congregating for thousands of years before governments were established, and then other thousands of years before government borders were established.
Right.
Yeah,
I think it's just a matter of congregating with people that have similar interests or similar views or whatever. It doesn't matter what the reason is, but the point is to not be forceful about it. Allow people to associate with you or disassociate with you because they're either stupid or you might just not get along with them. It doesn't matter. We shouldn't all be forced to get along. That's the whole point.
Maybe you just don't like me, and that's fine. I'm aware of many people who don't like me, and that's fine, right? I'm an abrasive jerk off half the time. I get that, but that doesn't mean that they are that's making me less free because somebody doesn't want to associate with me.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's the same thing both ways. Like if you're gonna get the ugly truth, you gotta hear both sides of the coin, I think.
Yep.
If you don't like me and I don't like you, that's okay. That doesn't mean I'm oppressing you. That just means we don't want to do business together. No biggie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mind your own business. Stay away from me.
Mind your business. Where's my bitches? I'm sorry.
But
it's 420, man. Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, why aren't you?
Yes, right. Yeah, sorry guys. Here, let me go. Josh doesn't even smoke weed, so I'm gonna take the reins here. I don't celebrate 420 for Hitler or for Bob Marley or for any of this shit. To be quite honest, I don't celebrate. I smoked my first bowl at 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of let down today. I've been trying to put together a smoke down for like a few weeks now. And last week 10 people were on board and it was going to be this cool thing in downtown Providence and it was raining today and like 45 degrees, and all of a sudden nobody wanted to go. And
yeah, it was a really cold rain out there.
it was. I mean, it fucking sucked outside. I'm not going to deny that. But if cold and rain are stopping you from trying to be free, you already lost this fight. You might as well just lay down, I think.
Think about it, Michael, though. Like, I think that freedom is about being who you are, you know, and being at liberty to do what you will. And my thing is, if rain gets you down, it's all right because it's natural. It's a normal thing to be, you know, depressed or, you know, whatever because of rain or because of snow. It's normal. So you're gonna miss an event or two, you know. But as long as you get to, like during normal weather, I should think that that's a good thing, you know.
I'm aware, but the caliber of people that I'm talking about are self-proclaimed cannabis activists. They are people who do this supposedly do this stuff on a regular basis, and like there's one or two, like John didn't come, but he's a state away, and he had his kid, and like there's real circumstances. Like Ann Armstrong wasn't able to make it, but she has a kid that she had to pick up from school, and like this serious stuff. So like I understand that, but 10 days ago, like 7 to 10 to 15 Rhode Island cannabis activists, fully confirmed, told me that they would be there rain or shine, not afraid of the cops or the state or whatever it is, and it never happens.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's kind of a letdown, man.
Yeah, man.
Not to mention that shit yesterday, and I'm not going to go through that story again. I'm not. I just had an interaction with the cops yesterday, and it was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible. I was not arrested. I was not charged with anything. It was fine. I did end up going home, but I was accosted, and it was fucking. I have a very sour taste in my mouth that I can't get rid of.
Well, that's normal. The local mob, you know, got you down, man, as usual.
It's It was kind of a good thing, maybe a bad thing. I don't know. Like, I haven't been focusing on Liberty lately. I've been doing like Game of Thrones came back on. Daredevil just came out. Secret Wars in Marvel is about to drop. Like, Conversion in DC is happening right now. Like, I'm just invested in a lot of other things, and like this thing with the cop yesterday kind of reminded me about my principles, and like
that's good.
I don't know. You know,
No,
I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so just to remind you all, you know, post your questions and comments up in the thread. Last show was April 13th. Tonight is April 20th, as Michael just mentioned. And so last time silver was $16.32. Tonight it went down to $15.94. That's 38 cents, 2.3% drop. Gold went from $1,214 to $1,194.90. That's a $5.24 drop. It's 0.4%. And Bitcoin went from $223.72 to $225.37. That's $1.65. That's 0.7% up. And so I think that's all. It's not much of a change. So there's a lot of nothing going on in the world of money as far as I could tell. Seriously, like, you know, I didn't even hear much news on my normal sources, so I'm pretty sure there's just a hell of a lot of nothing going on out there.
Yeah, I'd say that there hasn't. I'd say that there hasn't been much going on in money for a little over 100 years now. I guess until when did Bitcoin come out? Like 2009, something like that.
Yeah. You know, every 40 years they have a new version of fiat currency, but you know, who knows? Maybe that'll change.
Yeah, maybe, and maybe we'll save the black rhino. He's African. It's so ridiculous. I don't know if you guys are aware of that whole thing. There's this big campaign right now to save the the East African black rhino. Maybe it's West. I'm not sure. And the funny thing is like this particular animal like had been extinct for like hundreds of years, and scientists like brought it back to life in a fucking petri dish. and then like kind of created it again, and then it started to die because
it can't
market,
survive.
because it can't survive because like the market already deemed that it should fucking die, and and yeah, now all these leftists and all these PETA people and these maniacs are like pushing to I don't know, make laws to like try to save this animal that shouldn't be alive in the fucking first place. It's crazy.
That'll work. Pass another law. That'll work.
Yeah, yeah. Let's bring back the woolly Let's bring back the T-Rex and the woolly mammoth and make Jurassic Park, and then make laws against humans for trespassing or something. I don't know.
Make it illegal for them to go extinct.
Yeah, exactly. Just ban death.
You know what I saw is more about whaling. Save the whales. And I saw this today. I'm like, guys, it is what it is, and nobody's against whales' lives. Like, seriously, if you really think about it, like, why would anybody?
I'd say Ishmael was against a whale's life. I don't know.
Well, yeah, a fictional character. So, but yeah, like speaking of animals, here's a controversial subject I'd like to bring up. How about what's your stance about owning animals at all? My thing is, if you really think about it, if you really want to respect life and liberty, you really shouldn't own a pet or own a zoo or whatever. But at the same time, there's this economic principle that the more businesses own animals, the more they're likely to, survive. But at the same time, it's still almost a form of slavery, in my opinion. But it's hard. It's a hard subject and a little confusing, probably. But who wants to take this one? Any stances?
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't know. I mean, it's not like animals have a grasp on the ideas of liberty and freedom. They don't have that part of the brain that us humans do that can process and think about that kind of stuff. An animal really is just concerned with where its next meal is coming from. Are you going to pet it, take it for a walk, or whatever? I'm okay with owning an animal. I mean, as long as you're not abusing it or anything. Me personally, I don't really care for animals too much. I mean, I have there is a cat that terrorizes my apartment, but that's more for my daughter than me. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really big into animals, so I wouldn't, if I didn't have a kid or anything, I wouldn't own one. But I don't see anything wrong with having a dog as a pet or anything.
Yeah, Michael, I know you have a dog.
I do. He's like 3 feet away from me. This was a really tough one for me to grapple, man. It wasn't easy for me to do this because I don't want to own dogs. I don't want to own my dog. I love my dog very, very much.
Yeah.
And I think John is very, very wrong about the only thing animals care about is their next meal.
I didn't mean
that's their main concern, but that's your main concern too, buddy. Why do you go to work? So you can feed you, your wife, and your kid.
Well, sure.
Why do you have a roof? So you have a place to fucking cook your food. And animals care a lot more about a lot more than that. Like my dog in particular has some serious personal attachment issues. He's attached to me in a disgusting way, right? Not disgusting, but he just gets anxiety when I'm not around for extended periods of time. So that's an emotional feeling right there. That's a cognitively emotional thing. That's a lot more than instinctual primal thoughts, I think.
Yeah.
Alone, and then nevertheless lots and lots of other contributing factors. However, I've recently discovered that I live in reality land. I don't live in subjective reality land. I live in the real place that is right here that I can fucking touch and prove. And the fact of the matter is I bought my dog. I paid money for my dog. I pay money to take care of him. When he dies, it's up to me to get rid of his body. It's up to me to pick up his poop and to take care of him. He is my property by definition.
Right.
I also love him, but he's my property. I don't think there's a way to deny that anymore.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we say. If you're an owner, there's a lot of implications, you know, like, but I think that the deciding factor for me, the reason why I say it's improper to own a dog or a cat is because of the definition of what ownership means. It means exclusive use. You have exclusive use over your own body. How do you have exclusive use over a cat or a dog? You don't. And so that's where the contradiction lies. It's the same as humans.
I don't see it. No, I don't see a problem with that. Exclusive use. You don't have to not care about something if you exclusively use it. You don't care about your DVD collection or whatever. Like, you don't treat them well, right?
Yeah, but that can be the same for a slave owner. Thomas Jefferson, the best example in this case. I
would absolutely relate. Oh, that sucks to say, but I would absolutely relate owning a pet to owning a slave. Same thing.
That's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. I understand.
Yeah. But yeah.
Well, I mean, look, if I didn't get my dog, he was in Hartford, Connecticut, in the animal shelter, and he was going to be dead the day after I was there. He was going to die. They kill dogs after 9 days in the shelters, and he was going to die. So what? So maybe I rescue him and then let him free in what? In the woods in Providence? He doesn't know how to survive that way. And
I have to keep on going with the point with Thomas Jefferson. He probably did the same thing. You know, like he saved some slaves, most likely.
That's people. That's people.
I know somebody did. You know what I'm saying?
You don't. That's people.
Yes, it is.
I can't tell you why it's different because I just made the explanation to John about dogs' cognitive processes, right? So I guess I can't. I can't say that's entirely different. It's not. It's slavery. It's the same thing, but it's a human, dude. It's a fucking human. I'm sorry.
That's
I don't know why fuck your feels. I don't care. I don't know why it's different, but it is, and every single human being in the entire world knows that it is. Are you guys vegans? Are you guys vegans?
No.
Then I don't want to fucking hear it.
What were you saying, John?
I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Okay.
That's true, though. That's true, though.
I was going to say a human owning a slave is different because a human understands that there's life outside of the chains. There's life off the plantation. There's life off the tax farm. An animal doesn't understand that. Like Michael said earlier, that what's he going to do? Rescue a dog, let it loose in the woods? I mean,
that might not be true either, John, because a lot of people don't realize that there is a life off of the tax farm. Most people don't.
True.
That is another fallacy.
But you can.
Big fallacy. No, you're right. Big fallacy.
Yeah.
No, it's not a fallacy because you can teach the people. You can teach people that there is life off the tax farm.
No. A lot of people don't want to see the truth because of.
Well, okay, maybe they don't want to, but eventually, if you.
No, that's not always.
Okay, fine. Maybe that's they won't, not they can't.
Humans have the ability to understand it. They don't always understand it, like Michael says. But
okay.
Josh is right. They have the ability to understand it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's like negligence, dude.
Whether they use it or not, it's up to them. You know.
Yeah.
The thing about leading a jackass to water and all that.
This has been a very difficult subject for me for a long time. I only very recently I've known that animals were property forever. I just didn't want to admit it philosophically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think is the case. At least for me, by all definitive properties, like, that is the case. Whether I want to call it that or not, if I want to use political doublespeak and call it like, oh, I just love him, he's just my friend, or I'm just taking care of him, right? I can say that all I want to, but if you know what property is, then...
Right, exactly. Yeah, that subject deserves a lot of discussion off of what we just said, but maybe we can leave that for a different day. I'd like to move on, though, to just a generic question about being violent for the greater good. You know, like armies are always violent, like governments are violent, and but they're always proposing that they're doing something for the betterment of humanity or just few people. But I propose that all violence, like initiated violence is bad. It doesn't matter if it's for a good purpose or not. And I think that in the end, if we adhered to not being violent, aggressively, then that would be better for the greater good, even though we may not see it at the time. Welfarism is supposed to be for the greater good, but generally it's basically just violence against productive people, or sending armies across to spread liberty. That's a joke, even though it's meant for the greater good or advertised as such. It's just not.
The greater good, for the collective, or however you want to word it, is the number one fallback argument of authoritarians. The number one thing they're going to go to keep you safe, to get you educated, to protect the children, to make sure you have health care, right? But all we're talking about is reallocation of wealth from like you just said, dude, from productive people. That's all we're talking about. Forced reallocation of wealth, extorted, backed by the threat of murder. That's what we're talking about.
And what it means is a lot of the productive people will want to produce less because they're getting less of their own earnings out of it. Yeah. Anyway, John, what do you say?
Yeah, indoctrination is a hell of a drug. That's what I'll say about that. As far as this greater good nonsense goes.
Yeah. Greater good nonsense. Well put. Hey, John, look at this.
What's that? Peanuts. Bowl of peanuts.
I stole this idea from John's house.
Okay.
John,
good for you.
no. John keeps a bowl of peanuts on his coffee table, and I stole the idea. I thought it was brilliant. I don't know.
Okay.
I just did it by accident. I just had some peanuts laying around and put them out there, and now they're always out.
It's good.
John, you're supposed to say, yeah, I meant to do that. But yeah, about this greater good thing, I think it's just overused, and it's always used as a device to be violent, like every time. You know what I think, though? A lot of people will want to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. And I think if it comes from the individual, then it's actually truly a good thing, because they are saving 100 lives or something like that. Sacrificing themselves and taking out that car bomb or whatever, driving the car off the bridge and they're in, I don't know, I'm just saying, or keeping themselves in the line of fire from some shooters or something like that. Sacrifices can be made in a, and it can be good, but at the same time, if you have to be brainwashed to go along with the crowd just for the greater good, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, I think.
I think you do tend to do this. And I'm not sure if that's good or bad, I don't know. That's just your style. You tend to extremely overcomplicate things, I think, dude.
Well, I'm just trying to think about this kind of stuff because we have a show that has to go on for an hour. So
yeah.
because these subjects are pretty short.
Fair enough.
I think this greater good thing is it's a nonsense cliche that statists use, and it's intellectual laziness at its finest.
See, my whole fucking point. My whole fucking point is that it's the same thing that statists, collectivists, nationalists, lunatics, whatever, they do every single time. Every single thing that the government ever attempts to do is in the name of the greater good in some fashion. So I don't think that it's this big perplexing notion that we need to dissect because it's their every single game plan every single time.
Yeah.
The only reason that government ever passes a law is to, I don't know, keep everybody safe or to make everybody free. That is the collective. That is the greater good, right?
Yeah, and those who would give up essential liberty for temporary security deserve neither and will lose both. That kind of thing.
And yeah, well, I don't know. I think that Ben Franklin kind of like helped set up like the worst thing that the world has ever seen. So fuck that guy, man. It's a good quote. I'm not gonna lie. The Tree of Liberty one it's pretty good too, but
right. But at the same time, you're right. They did help create the biggest government that the world's ever seen.
No, they did. He was one of the main contributors to institute the magical biblical fucking papers that instituted the worst empire the world has ever seen. Like directly.
Biblical papers. That's great.
It is, man. It's fucking religiosity at its fucking finest.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm an anti-theist, right? Like, I hate Christianity and Islam and Judaism and all that shit so very much, but those are like peaceful and amazing and good things compared to the religion of the state. Jesus, they still sacrifice people, dude. I mean, I know it sounds really kind of cliche, but
yeah,
fucking A.
Yeah, I mean, we can go on about that, I guess, but not really. You're right. It is pretty simple. It just comes down to they're covering up something and trying to spread hatred and fear and violence and everything.
Yeah.
So here's another thing. What happened today was the Boston Marathon, and I guess now it's sort of being used as an excuse to do good deeds. When if you really need an excuse to do a good deed, you're not doing life very well. You're not living life. So I'm thinking that what you should be doing is just being a good guy or a good girl, a good girl, like every day. Just be a good person. Just spread the message of liberty, or help people out. They have to call it a good deed or good Samaritan. I just say just keep your reputation in good standing.
Look, that's because that's why they're doing it. If you need a I'm sorry, I'm swearing too much. I'm gonna try to.
I don't care.
I know you don't. I do. If you need an event or a viral Facebook or Twitter campaign to make you donate to something, you're only doing it for recognition at that point. And that's okay. Like I believe in costs and benefits, right? Like the only reason that people donate is to make themselves feel good. Like, and yes, maybe they generally care. Let's say you give a sandwich to the homeless guy, whatever. Like, yeah, you generally care about him. Perhaps, like maybe I would, you guys would, right? But at the same time, you're doing that for self-gratification. You're doing that because you think that that's the right thing to do. So that's going to make you feel good. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that at all.
Right.
Yeah, agreed.
Just to follow up on what we were talking about earlier, Jason just gave us a pretty long comment, and I'm just going to read most of this here. He thinks that the whole debate over good or moral and bad or immoral is irrelevant because morality is subjective. What matters and what is generally considered the measure of morality to most anarchists is whether or not one's actions harm others. And I'll skip ahead. Violence is neither good nor bad. What matters is whether one was made a victim. And I think the whole thing is the meat and bones of this comment really, to me, is what is generally considered the measure of morality to most anarchists is whether or not one's actions harm others. That means to be immoral to me. So that is subjective.
I take something very different away from that. I'm very familiar with this commenter. And thanks for commenting, bud. Appreciate that. You can check. I'm not going to use his full name, but you can check him out on like A Wolf in Sheeple's World, or damn, there's that voluntary one. I can't remember. I'm sorry, dude. If you could type it into the comments, I'll list it. But there's like 10,000 pages with the word voluntary. I can't keep track, man. But he's one of our biggest fans, and he's a big supporter. I'm going to plug my show, I guess, on Abolishing Authority with Michael Freeman, which is just a podcast that I do from 8 to 9 on Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays. But what he's getting at is that reality is subjective, I think. That was the main point that I took away from that. And I up until very recently agreed. He's coming at it from a Nietzschean standpoint, and I don't entirely disagree with that. But I think that baseline morality, I've very, very recently come to understand, is objective. Look, man, rape is wrong. I don't care how you spin it in your head. I don't care. I know the argument of, well, it's not wrong to the rapist, right? And you can even go further and be like, well, yeah, maybe some rapists think that it's wrong, but maybe some, and then they get off on doing wrong, but maybe some think it's okay, right? Well, the fact of the matter is they're fucking evil, and I don't really care what they think. If you're killing people, if you're initiatorily killing people, I don't really care what you think. I mean, to be quite honest, in general, I just don't really care what you think on the matter, right? Whether morality is objective or subjective or duplexive or what, mutual or whatever silly isms you want to use to describe that, like, just be a good person and be nice to me, and we're probably going to be square. That's what I think. I think that the one more little thing. I just think that the subjective reality thing is a very, very slippery slope. I think that can lead to you just thinking like, hey, I'm just going to fucking... I know it's an extreme example, but like, oh, I'm just going to stab this dude in the head because I think that's okay. Or something like the feminist argument of fucking... I think that emotions are more important than logic, and if you use statistics to prove me wrong, you are oppressing me. That is a subjective reality because that's just not the truth, right? And that's where I think that's where it loses me, to be honest.
That's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, once you you can believe what you want at all, it doesn't matter, but that is all subjective, and it isn't in line with reality. And the whole thing is, if you can back up your argument with facts, like the reason why murder is wrong is because X, Y, and Z, and there's 5 million reasons why it's wrong, obviously. But there's facts to back up why it's wrong. And you can't really justify murder being right. Because justification is the act of making it right in your head. Justify. Making it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all in the words.
Justification. Anybody who follows any content that I do knows my opinion on intentions, and a justification is exactly the same type of thing. It's bullshit that you're telling yourself, whether it's true or not. It's just something that you're telling yourself to make yourself feel okay.
Right. So yeah, what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what the morality, whether you agree with us about morality being subjective or objective. It doesn't matter right now. You're right in saying that morality to most anarchists is whether or not one's actions harm others. That is objectively true. So, anyway, moving on. We all agree that basically the non-aggression principle, for the most part, is a good principle to live by, and violence.
That's where I get subjective. I think I subjectively apply to the NAP. See, this is just a madhouse discussion that you never get anywhere.
You can't. Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to say though, really quick, Jason. I know I tend to come off as a prick sometimes, and I thoroughly, sincerely like you, and you know my style, dude. You faggot.
I don't think he has any harm here right now. I'm just gonna shout him out. He says his websites or his Facebook pages are the Voluntary Vine and the Government is the Problem, and those were the two other pages that you were missing. Yeah, I just want to shout out our show right here, The Currency of Anarchy. You can find us at youtube.com/Cur of Anarchy. And you can find us at facebook.com/Cur of Anarchy, and you're going to find us every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Anyway, what else can we talk about? John, do you have anything to add to that whole morality trip that we were just going through right there?
Dude, just don't even waste your...
Why not? Come on.
No, I mean, you guys pretty much nailed it. I mean, I generally don't get into the whole subjective versus objective thing because my brain can't handle it half the time, and I end up wanting to jump out a window after 10 minutes. But no, seriously, I mean, as far as like, say a rapist who might not think what they're doing is wrong, ask them to explain why it's not wrong, and I'd be really interested to hear that. I'd be really interested to hear that cockamamie answer.
Like rather than asking them what's wrong, I'm probably just gonna stop them from raping the person. I think.
No, think about this. If a rapist says that it's okay to rape, then let's see how he handles being raped. That's my thing. Would he be able to take it up the butt? I can't believe I just said that on the show, but still, like, think about it. Like, really, does a rapist really think it's wrong? Like,
I think.
Well, even if
there's no way to know that. Like, we're just talking about other people's preferences and opinions and thoughts.
That's
like,
a good point.
Like, so I would assume, and I'm speculating, but I would assume that most rapists probably know that it's wrong. And that's why they do it. Like, they get off on the control or whatever.
The power trip.
The power trip, and they probably like the sex too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd say that there's probably a handful as well who like think that that's okay, that is okay behavior. And yes, they are sociopaths and psychopaths, but to them, right, that might not be incorrect behavior, and they subjectively believe that is okay. And to me, they're out of their fucking mind, and
yeah,
like,
they are sick.
They need to be like physically stopped, and I don't know, maybe they can be fixed. I don't know, but if they're in the act of raping somebody and a moral actor sees that, they should try not to kill them, but if they have to, fuck them, fuck it.
It's just a goofy argument. It's a goofy argument to me to say that morality is subjective because. Well, like I said, because, well, a rapist might not think it's wrong, so how can it be objectively wrong? Well, the rapist is wrong in this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He might be raping someone thinking, well, this isn't wrong. This is perfectly okay. No, you're wrong. It's not okay. It's never okay to fucking rape somebody.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
You know what I always had a problem with subjectivists saying that government is bad. When you're making an objective statement about government, you're right. It's just that why are you right? Because you're right.
Well,
it's objective.
I'm not going to say government is bad. I would say that government is evil. Like, dude, again, it just goes. It's the same thing to me as well. But you have. I don't know, I'm doing this thing lately where I'm just trying to bring things to costs and benefits. Like, for the welfare recipient or whatever, like, government might be good. You know, it's bad to me, even though I get a fucking pension from them. Like it's bad to me. They do evil. They hurt people and kill people at the expense of the geographical location of people that they enslave, and that's evil, in my opinion. That is.
Right.
I don't like to use the word objective, and I don't think I have yet, but that is objectively fucking morally wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think you've ever heard me say anything like that on this show before. When I first came on the show, I didn't want to talk about the subject, and then I started to dabble into it, but I was coming from more of a Nietzschean perspective, from more of a Plutonian perspective, right? And
Michael, let me just say that I'm both happy to hear all of this, but I'm also a little scared. Like, well, what happened? Like, what changed? Like, I mean, it's a good thing. It's good to change your mind. It's good to, align yourself. But at the same time, I'm like, wow, where did this all come from?
I thought it through. I guess. I was in this group that you guys are both familiar with, and there was this streak of nihilism going on there, and I kind of bought into it, I guess, and I don't think that it's all entirely wrong. I really don't. I absolutely don't call myself an objectivist. I think that probably like 98% of the world is just opinion, but there are very, very, very few facts, but some of them are like rape is wrong. I think. I don't know. I've been listening to some Molyneux a little more lately, and just stuff like that.
Right.
I can't really call you made a very, very valid point, and it's kind of ridiculous and hilarious. Like, how the motherfuck can I say that there are no facts and government is evil in the same sentence?
Yeah.
That's a contradiction.
Is it possible? This is probably going to sound really stupid, but I don't generally get into this kind of topic, so I'm generally curious. Can some things be subjective and some things be objective? Why does it have to be like all one or the other?
Oh no,
it doesn't. I don't think that it does.
I'm an objectivist. Everything is objective, or I'm subjective. Everything is subjective. But why can't some things are subjective, some things are objective?
That's it. But like. So I consider myself. I'm not sure if I am objectivist anymore, but still, I think that the default position is subjective because everybody does have a preference. But the point is, since we all have preferences, we have to somehow align ourselves to the world around us to interact. So basically. It's a combination of the subjective, to me. It's a combination of everybody's subjective preferences turning out to be objective. I'm not saying that is right, but it's the way I see it. So when it comes to morality, in order to make definitive statements like murder is wrong, it has to be from an objective point of view. Because, if whatever I wanted to do was the right thing to do, then I would rule the world. And that is how government is created, through subjectivism, not objectivism. You know what I'm saying? The way I see it. But that's from a morality point of view. But, like, when it comes to preferences, like, hey, what's my favorite ice cream? Only I can decide that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude, just don't waste your fucking time with this never-ending rabbit hole. Don't even get into it. The best thing that I can say, I'm not going to call myself an objectivist, subjectivist, nihilist, Plutonian, none of it. I'm not going to fucking do it. The best thing that I can give you is like, look, dude, it doesn't fucking matter what other people think. It's all costs and benefits. Whether right or wrong exists or not, just expect repercussions from your decisions.
Yeah.
Whatever. Take it from there. If you're wrong, if you're right, other people are going to react in other ways based on the value that they place in the situation. Outside of that, I don't think it matters.
But that does mean that rape could be okay. Because if there were no repercussions for rape, then you could do it. You know what I'm saying?
You can maybe, like, you can call rape okay all day. If I see you rape somebody, I'm gonna fucking stop you, and I will definitely kill you if I have to.
Right, but why? Now that brings up the reason why, or
because I think that it's because I'm witnessing you commit violence against another human being who's not consenting to it,
And
I would say.
And that's
I mean,
the line I draw.
You can call all kinds of isms around that. I don't really care. I'm also, what we were saying about pets earlier. I'm also the kind of guy who, if I see like it's like 100 degrees outside and your dog's in your car, I'm gonna punch your fucking car window and let your dog out. Oh, yeah. And I might even leave my name and number and shit and be like, look, I'll provide you restitution. I understand how property rights work, but I'm not really one to watch somebody hurt, whether it's an animal. And see, this is a very subjective value because I don't particularly care about bugs or like crows or fucking squirrels. I don't care. Rats, right? But I guess I don't really care about that stuff. I'm just like I'm the kind of guy that's going to stop beings from being hurt.
Yeah, I get it.
But
I think we got to wrap up the show here. So, John, thanks for coming on last minute over there. And
no problem.
Shout out your show or shout out your page. That is.
All right. Yeah. Well, you guys know I'm on the show enough. You hear me plug it all the time. New Sons and Daughters of Liberty on Facebook. I'm also an admin on Raising Common Sense Anarchist, which is a fantastic parenting page. I also run. There's a couple other pages that I run, but I don't really spend much time on them. They're not really liberty oriented, but whatever. I'll plug them anyway. One is I fucking hate unions, and I started this page because I'm an involuntary prisoner with the UAW Local 2121. Yeah, no choice in that. And I just got sick of their shit one day, and I got tired of arguing with them online on their Facebook page, and just kind of created the page out of frustration. So there's that. It's got like less than 100 likes on it. If I get 2 likes out of this, so be it. And I run one not liberty-oriented at all. It's called Shit Gamblers Say, because as most of you know, I work in a casino, and gamblers say some funny shit, and I have some fun with it.
Nice. When did you start? Or did you start that page? The other page? You just mentioned it. Your
union.
The union one. I fucking hate unions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started that recently.
Oh, okay. I never heard you mention it before. That's cool.
Because I never really gave much time to it. I never put a whole lot of time. It's one of those things where, like, if I feel like ranting about a union, I'll go post on it. But I don't. My focus is at New Sons and Daughters of Liberty and Raising Common Sense Anarchists.
Nice. Okay, so another CSA group. Got it.
Yeah, there's like 12 of them now.
Oh man, that's ridiculous.
And I am happy to say that I am in 0.
Yeah, I'm in the agorism one. I'm pretty cool with that.
I wasn't aware that there was an agorism.
Oh yeah, no, it's pure business, and I appreciate that.
I think Ben from Anarchy Ball created that one.
Oh, Ben Shitnigger. Ben
yeah.
Shitnigger.
Yeah, I think he created the agorism one. Pretty cool.
Yeah, Ben. We like Ben. He Anarchy Ball's pretty funny stuff.
Right on. Yeah. So who do we have on next time, Michael?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think next week we have Dr. Walter Block.
Dude, that's huge. I
agree.
That is for you guys.
Yeah. Everybody, stay tuned for that one. That will be April 27th live. We will have the Q&A up on that show, so if anybody wants to check out Walter Block, ask him questions, then please do so. That'll be live Monday at 9 p.m. And this show will be up Wednesday at 3 p.m. That's the 22nd. So, yeah, please stay tuned, check it out, and thank you all for watching. Take care. Everybody say goodbye.
See you guys.